Hi, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Transformed You. I'm Mark DeJesus here with my amazing wife and co-host, Melissa, and we're going to get into some more areas on the subject of fear, of taking your fears and turning them into places of tremendous victory. And we want to get into the subject of the fear of man, intimidation, the fear of what people think, worrying about what people think. We're going to do our best to share our own stories, our own journey, and help you get free from this trap. Because if you want to experience the life and the freedom and the empowerment that's available to you, you're going to have to face this issue at not just one time, but multiple times in your life. But it can be a very fruitful experience. So welcome to the show. If what we're talking about here makes a difference in your life and journey, check out the book that I've written called I Will Not Fear. It's a second edition. It will talk about some of the things that we're talking about today, and we're going to try to use stories or use analogies and use our own journey to add to it. But man, this will really help you to understand everybody faces the fear factor, and we got to experience freedom in facing it. And if you love our videos, our content, resources, articles, things like that, please consider becoming a supporter. You can do a one-time donation, or you can become a monthly supporter and join our transformational tribe. So where do we begin when addressing this issue? Fear of man.
Okay, so I think fear of man can be, I'll just speak from my own journey of it. So for me, coming to terms and understanding, kind of giving it a label of fear of man, I think most of my life, I thought, well, I'm just insecure, which there is a very big element of that, right? Don't really know how to be secure in ourselves, to be confident. So when it comes to dealing with people, whether it's getting on a stage and having to look at somebody, having an issue in your family, you need to confront a spouse, a child. We all have a lot of insecurities around what other people think of us. And to me, this hits so many areas. And I think, growing up, I didn't know that's what it was. I just always felt so out of place. When I would get in front of people, I would awkwardly overtalk and not say what I really wanted to say and let things go. For me, I think, yes, fear of man is in so many areas of my life, but the thing that it stands out the most for me is where I've needed to deal with an issue and been so scared to death to do it.
Right. And God has created us as his messengers to use the most powerful tool we've been given, which is our voice. And everybody listening to this, watching this, God is giving you a voice. The Bible calls your tongue a rudder. The message of the gospel, the message of transformation, whatever God is doing in people's lives, has to take place through the exchange of words, through someone's voice. So you don't even have to be a public speaker or someone who's doing a podcast or putting videos together or teaching. It doesn't even have to be that. It can be in your home where you're talking to your husband or talking to your wife or talking to your kids, talking to your mother-in-law or talking to a neighbor. There is a confidence that God wants us to operate in and a boldness, not to just, just boldly say whatever you want, to speak with power, love, and a sound mind. But if you notice that scripture where in 2 Timothy, Paul says to Timothy, who's his spiritual son in the faith, he says, listen, stir up the gift that's in you. That, remember, when we laid hands on you, there's giftings God has birthed into your life. And stir that up, for God's not giving you the spirit of fear. The whole context of that verse is speak, be confident, step out in who you are. And when fear comes, know it's not from God, but that fear wants to entrap and block and keep dormant what's inside of you and who you are. But what God has given to you is power. He's giving you love, and he's giving you a sound mind. And those three are amazing aspects of God's nature that really equip us. When you live in power, there's confidence, there's a boldness, there is a steadiness, but it's clothed in love. The power doesn't just operate by itself. It needs love. Truth needs love. Everything that God does needs love. And God's like, I'm working with that with you. And a sound mind, in those moments where you're like speaking the truth, or you need to say something and it's a tough moment, I find for me, the thing that gets attacked is the power aspect, not only the love, but then the sound mind. It's like you lose that clarity.
Right.
Like you start going blank. Sometimes you panic. Sometimes you go, oh my goodness, my words aren't coming out correctly. I had it all planned out, and now it's a struggle, because that's the warfare. That's the battle, is to keep those three areas from being effective in your life. But the point that I want to make up front is that your potential in what God can do in your life, I believe a lot of it stands on your journey of learning to develop your confidence in being able to speak out the things that need to be talked about, say the things that need to at times be said. And if we're honest, we spend a lot of our time skirting around. So instead of maybe having the conversation with the person we need to talk to, we talk to everyone else about it, and we just kind of build our case.
Or we wait till we're violently angry to get the like righteous, I need to do this, violent anger that's bubbling up inside of us, and then that really never goes well anyways. Right. That's what usually we wait for, is that moment of the surge where we go, oh, now I can finally do it. Now I have I'll use an old term, gumption to do it, and really that's a lot of the time just not the best mode to enter into those things with. It's in that place of soundness, having peace inside of you, walking more assuredly in who you are, and then out of that, you can capture your words. You have clarity of thinking, which seems to go away. Like for me, goes right out the window. Like, boom. Or I think I'm walking into a situation and I'm like, I'm feeling good. I'm going to just chat. I'm going to talk to this person. It's going to be great. And the next thing, I am like over talking, hyper talking, spun out. And then, which we'll get into in further episodes, the OCD spiral of analyzing everything I've said. So insecure spirals me out into such an OCD spin. So this thing is, it's a big thing that I think most people can say, yeah, I understand that. And I want to break through that, because I want to be more comfortable when I'm interacting with people, when I have to get up and speak. I want to, be the kind of person that if a word needs to be brought, I have confidence to do that and not care what other people think.
Right. And I think what you mentioned, the over talking, right? Those times you feel insecure, and so you kind of can tend to over talk out of the fear of man to make things better. Right? You want to feel better. So like, let me just kind of keep talking, because you're wanting that person to give you a sense of acceptance, like, love, and approval.
Or give a word, or give a shake of like, yeah, I get what you're saying.
So then many swing into another place, which is a passivity, where we don't bother at all. And we just don't speak. We don't talk. We don't say what needs to be said. And we just let that issue just hover. And then what happens is, the nature of fear is it's all smoke and mirrors. Fear is a liar. It wants to magnify what could go wrong, and your life ending, and you could die, and all these things, and just intimidate you. But it wants to just keep building its case. The more we don't act on something, the bigger it becomes. Mm-hmm. So the more you don't have that conversation, it just becomes this big, monster that just kind of keeps growing. And then it dominates over the situation. And that's why some people can use the term, even in spiritual warfare teachings, they can use the term Jezebelic, because Jezebel, in her relationship with Elijah and Ahab, her husband, it shows the dynamics of how intimidation works, right? Because she threatened Elijah with just a message. All she did was send him a message, like basically, so help me, I'm going to do to you as you did. I'm going to rough you up, buddy, kind of thing. And it really cut Elijah at the knees. Like, it made him spin out. He's depressed. He's spiraling. He's by himself. He's like, oh, I'm all alone. I can't even do this. It all came out of just one sentence of intimidation from her, right? Well, in order for that kind of bullying work to take place, and it doesn't just happen in females, it happens in males too. So just understand that. But in Jezebel's case, her passive husband makes way for that to flourish, to keep growing, really to keep happening. Yeah. It thrives. So in churches, businesses, the fear and intimidation that keeps people from being free to speak out who they are in God and walk boldly in that, there is a work of intimidation that keeps people in a passive mode. So if I looked at any church that has like a church split issue or a problem, this fear of man is there, and there's a passivity of not just truly addressing what needs to be addressed, because we're going to shake the tithers, or we're going to shake this person, or that person's been an elder for a long time. And so politics comes in, and it happens in our work, in our corporate, and then in our families. Our families can be the hardest because family, how do you really get away from family?
We need to have Christmas together. We need to go to the birthday parties. We all need to be around each other.
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, at the same time, God has put in all of you listening to this. He's giving you a message. He's giving you your story that he's doing in your life. And please understand that the gates of hell want to pull everything possible to cause you to be passive, discouraged, disoriented, spin out,
Isolate,
overthink, isolate, to just not go like God said to Jeremiah, don't be afraid of their faces because I'm with you. And God always said that. It was a two-handed thing. Don't be afraid. Whatever you do, just don't be afraid. People are so worried about doing the wrong thing, and I got to get it just right, and I got to say it right and do it. And God's like, just don't be afraid. And secondly, because I'm with you. Cast your cares on me because I care for you. Do not be afraid, for I am with you. The Lord is my help. I shall not fear. What can man do to me? So
Right.
it's a hand-in-hand thing that we have to realize there's an exchange that God wants to do with us. He wants to walk with us in relationship. He's not sending you out jumping off a cliff by yourself. He's with you the whole time. But he's going to teach you. And for me, I think I have learned some of the biggest areas of growth by facing the fear of man. And I've had to face it in major levels at different areas to really discover the confidence that's available and discover the work of God that can show up, whether it's been what I write about in my coaching work. It shows up a lot in my coaching work because, you want to help people and you want them to have a good experience. And then there's those moments where you have to have the tough conversations of like, hey, you got some decisions you got to make. And then I have to face-to-face realize this person could never want to speak to me ever again. And I have to be okay with that because I can't let fear be my dominant motivator.
That's so good.
So
yeah.
anyway.
No, I think, when I think about this, it's really heavy, I think, in most people and in their lives because it's causing such a disruption from us having healthy and whole relationships. And we're so afraid, even as you're saying the scriptures, it's challenging thinking. And I think for most people, it's challenging me. And I think for most people, it should challenge you. Like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? You're still going to be safe. What if you confront things and if you start healing these areas in your life where then you now are able to stand up in front of a crowd and give that speech you want to give, or you need to have a conversation with a sibling that you haven't had that you don't like how they're treating you. What's going to happen? The truth will be out. You'll overcome something and you're moving towards wholeness. I have all these thoughts in my head, so it's getting jumbled. But like we want to move towards, because relationships are suffering so bad because of these things. Sorry, I'm double talking, but relationships are suffering. And at the core of this, like our hearts are to, everyone wants to have better relationships, and this thing is right there in the middle of so many things in our lives. And I just want to encourage you to take that step today. Like, there may be some greater confidence you need to walk in. And this goes to, actually, I had a beginning thought that you are so good at bringing when you coach people into being easy on yourself. And it's okay if you fail. And like taking those steps in what you need to do to face that fear. Sorry, it took all those words to say that. To face that fear in that area that you're looking to overcome. And then if it doesn't go good, I'd like you to talk to that. Like if it doesn't go good and you don't feel good about it after, how to be easy on yourself and love yourself through it.
Yeah, because the answer to the fear of man is we could talk about 10 steps and these things and all that, but the answer is really you have to face it, and you have to face it while shaking in your boots.
Yes, thank you.
And celebrate the fact. So for example, fear of man has come about in my life in a number of areas, in having honest talks with family members, in my pastoral work when I was on staff and doing youth ministry, dealing with parents who didn't like some way I was doing something in the youth group. Worship ministry. Oh my goodness, the fear of man was huge in that. You're dealing with the disapproval of people don't liking your music style, your songs, the way you do things, who you pick to sing. You're looking out in the congregation and you're seeing people not participating, and you're tempted to take it personally. And you have these people that come in like duds and like why are you even here? You know, and you have to like guard your heart. Then pastoring our own church and dealing with people leaving and just not even. You take the hurt of what you're talking about and preaching and teaching and feeling that disapproval of people, feeling the betrayal, the moments of betrayal that come about. Then there's the years of hundreds and hundreds of people that I've coached over the years personally, and some of those times where there's a marriage and it's abusive and you have to bring out, this is not right, and I'm not going to patty cake this, or did I mention enough examples?
Yeah, you did.
And so at all those levels, I even remember there was a season where I did a little bit of traveling speaking, and I go somewhere, man, I'm like filled up to my neck with, I'm a new guy speaking. These people never heard me. And I can remember personally some of my biggest moments of deliverance, so to speak, like really epic moments where I could feel something in my heart, like literally breaking off. And there is a significant war in this area. If you don't believe in warfare, I don't know how you face this stuff, because it's there. And I remember one time driving, to New Jersey, having just a all-out war on this thing. And even at one time, just like yelling at the top of my lungs in my car, like, fear, you're not gonna win. And I remember sometimes those moments where when I would like face that fear in my prayer time, that sometimes that shout or that stance, like, I'm just not going to be bullied by this, right? Then there's other times where it's the nurturing, calming work of love that says, don't be afraid. Because sometimes the warfare stance can make you a little edgy, and it make me a little like, so I would talk to the person, but there's a little bit of an edge to me that,
I get what
like,
you're saying. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's a
Yeah.
little harshness. I'm coming across a little angry. I don't mean to. And that's my insecurity and stuff coming across. But then over the years, I learned, it's not in that. That warfare, that boldness, that kind of needs to be done like in your personal. But when you actually interact with the person, you want to be clothed with love, seasoned with grace.
Isn't that so tough, though?
Really tough.
It's so hard because you're overanalyzing. I do this a lot. Like, you overanalyze everything you're saying. You want it to come out right. You want it to sound right. Like in any of those scenarios you laid out, which is where I was thinking before and trying to get my words out, because I'm like, all these scenarios are whipping through my mind. We could go on so many tangents when it comes to fear of man.
Right.
Like a lot. And, like being able to walk into peace and not get like riled up inside and not have that edge, that is really, really hard. And it goes back to really like all the other podcasts we've done. Like, all this is such a culmination of our healing journey and, coming together. And then when you have that moment where you're like, okay, I'm going to talk to this person. I've been wanting to talk to them about this, and it goes good. And you're like, oh my gosh, all this work I've been doing, it's working. I feel good about myself, and it didn't matter how they responded, or I stood up in front of the crowd and you know what? They stared at me, and I'm okay, and I love myself over it. Like,
I think
right?
I think the first thing I learned about the fear of man beyond my public speaking, because I was doing that since I was young and have had years and years of like working that out. But really, let's kind of put that aside for a second, because day-to-day life, realizing my relationships are usually one very honest conversation away from becoming a great relationship. And I think that people that are listening to this, in your marriage, in your relationship with friends, coworker, or people that you value, where that relationship has the potential to move into more of a covenant relationship, right? There's different levels of relationship. You know, you got your acquaintances, you got your people you just see every now and then, people you work with. Then you have like people that are closer. Then you have like either the core or the potential core. Those are like covenant people, where like you could potentially go the long distance with. I find the limitation is on the level of honesty. Like, how honest can you be of, hey, you know, when I call you 4 times and you never get back, you never acknowledge it, that hurts. And I want a better relationship. Can we have a better relationship? I'd really like that, where we come and try to reason together, not just like pour all our wounds out on the table, but like come and reason with each other and talk through in a way that's the end goal is I want a better relationship. That, I think, is where the fear of man traps us the most, because what we do is, in the name of love, we just tolerate what everybody does, and we're constantly just pushing it aside, which is fine, because love covers a multitude of sins. You know, there is a power in overlooking an offense, and just I'm not gonna get hung up on that. But I think there's a time where we need to go, you know what? I just really want a better relationship. And, you know, I know you've experienced this a lot, where you've met with someone who's a friend, and you're like, I just want to call the relationship to a new level.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't go there, it doesn't go there. But I see the potential there, and I want to at least try to have a conversation. And then if it doesn't, then, like you said earlier in this episode, is that if it doesn't work out, I need to be okay with the fact that I gave it a shot, that I put myself out there, because there's times where I put myself out there and it just didn't go well at all.
Right. So I want to talk about that.
I remember specifically a guy I was working with, and it wasn't ministry work. I was earning money while we were building our ministry. And I remember he was a guy I was working for, and I just opened up my heart, and I had a moment. And it was like crickets when I shared my journey, my story, some of the stuff I've been through. And I started to crawl into a hole. And I'm driving on the way home, and I called you, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like that was just awful, sharing that with him. And your response was, no, you need to celebrate the fact that you gave an opportunity for there to be another level of real interaction and communication. And you're going to have those times where it's just not received. And that's the thing that I've had to learn in facing the fear of man, is releasing the results in God's hands. Like, yeah, maybe I didn't say it the best way, or maybe a little bit of my anger came through, or maybe I was confused, or maybe I didn't say what I really meant, but I gave it a shot, and I'm trying and I'm learning. And God, I know you're working with me. Give myself that grace, and then I give other people that grace too.
Mm-hmm. Well, I actually wanted to talk about that, because there's a couple verses, I think even one in Hebrews about, you know, basically, don't give in to fear. God is with you, because what can man do to you? Well, he can reject you. He can not hear you. He can turn away. There's a lot of things. And it's not to get, Debbie Downer on that, but working through that when it doesn't go well.
I think that verse, what can man do to me? That's it, Hebrews 13:16.
Yeah.
So the NIV says, so we can say with confidence, the Lord is my helper. I will not be afraid. What can mere mortals do to me?
Right.
That's great. The New Living Translation. So we can say with confidence, the Lord is my helper, so I will have no fear. What can mere people do to me? There's something about that, like mere mortals, or that like it puts in perspective. So I think that verse is so much easier said than done.
That's what I'm saying.
I think it's preached, it's talked about, it's screamed about, it's declared. We get social memes. Is it meme or mem?
Ma'am, I think memes, but you can let us know. But
it's memes. So I think that it's the rubber meets the road in really understanding. I have to experience in the moment to live out. This is not something you're going to get just praying about it. It's something you're going to get in the activation, in the moment of like, God, I'm going to trust you're with me. What you say is the most important thing in my life. Now, here's what makes it challenging. We say, so we are confident to say, in the Hebrew writing, says we're confident to say, boldly say in other translations. People don't have that confidence of God's having our back and being with us in that kind of deep reality. That's why we deal so much with the Father image and the Father's love and understanding I've got your back, I'm with you, dealing with, because in the moment of trying to have that conversation or trying to say something, all our issues back to childhood come to the surface,
right?
Which produce a lack of confidence. And you're not going to fully have all your confidence and then say it or then have the conversation or give the message.
Right. So you could potentially walk into a situation with good confidence and you think to yourself, even in the moment, wow, this is going good. And then at the end, it doesn't. My bigger thing, which I think a lot of people, it's twofold, is the recovery when it doesn't. And you walk into it thinking, God's got my back. I'm good. I'm confident. I know what I need to say. You say it. And then at the end, it doesn't go good. And now the confidence goes bye-bye. And what's the recovery from that?
You bring up a great point, and I don't think I've ever heard anyone talk about that in a setting like this or in a teaching setting, is the after effect of the hard conversations. I think that's where the devil does the most work.
Damage, right?
It's not in the conversation. It's afterwards, because when you leave it, there's a replay. You replay the interaction. And there's all kinds of twisties and things that come in and self-insecurities and should have said this, should have said that. And then we're translating what people said.
Or didn't say, and their eye language and their right.
And so the narrative of what happened. So now we're developing a story of what happened that isn't exactly accurate.
Right. And we now could be either avoiding somebody who literally just needed time to maybe take it in and process it and wants to have a conversation. And on their end, they're spinning out. We always just take our own feelings and create a story of what we think they're thinking. And then usually we don't stay in the game. We avoid, we don't call, we do stuff that removes us for safety reasons.
Right.
I do this, I have done this a lot. I'm going to be the first to admit it. I don't want to feel that again, so I'm not going there. I don't want to feel that again. I'm not going to do that, or I'm going to avoid that person or whatever.
Right. And then,
it's bad.
And then you, when I say you, I don't mean just you,
That's
people
fine.
in general,
Okay.
you lick your wounds, you go forget it. And then God comes to us and goes, I want to get you back in the game. Because it's like when he went to Elijah and said, what are you doing here? I don't believe God was just saying in this geographic location. I think he was saying, what are you doing in this predicament? I want to, and it's funny because this is one of my favorite stories because there's so much about mental health and emotional health in this moment with Elijah in 1 Kings, 17, 18, 19 in that arena. Read it and let it immerse it where Elijah's like his power gets stripped from him because of this intimidation. And he loses who he is in that moment. And we all have those moments where we get hit. Like it just, you go and you have a conversation, you think it's going to go great, and all of a sudden it goes terrible, and you did not see that coming. Or there, all these things that go wrong. The recovery is critical because we make these vows and agreements and forget it. And, Peter denies Christ and he's like, I'm going fishing, basically forget all. And Jesus, shows up to him and has to like really speak back into his identity, because out of certain like dynamic moments that the enemy brings the after effect punch, just as we're like in that struggle, as we're walking out of the ring, he gives a cheap shot. while you're on your way out, beating yourself up, maybe accusing
or right when you go
others.
to lay your head to sleep, and you're thinking you're like, I'm good, and then
Right.
the instant replay happens. It's not good.
So I think the point of this episode that I would like to bring home, and you could tell me if you think otherwise,
Okay.
is what is the conversation or the area that you keep avoiding that if you face it could do two things, at least one of them, if not both. Bring about a greater relationship potential. Don't start throwing stones at people, accusing some of, we all need like conflict resolution skills, you know what I mean? But to say things in a way that is seasoned with grace, where it's like, I want the relationship to be better, where that potential's there, but it's kind of sitting dormant. And you're maybe one really good conversation in your marriage, with your kids, with somebody you work with, or just a good friend or a relative. But that too, there's a greater you that needs to rise up. And it's not going to be I'm going to get the confidence and then do it. You build your confidence as you take the step. And the step is the courageous thing. So it's not really about confidence, it's about courage. It's about taking the step while fearful and being okay with that. I'm fearful and I'm giving it a try. And then the after effect of celebrating the fact that I work through this and I can learn from it now.
Yeah, that's really good. And if I could, I want to just go a little bit deeper in it too. And it's the thing that for me with this that I've had to confront when I look at all these scenarios, when I ask, what can man do to me? Really the answer for me is they won't love me and accept me. And it's confronting that part inside of me. Really, I think boils down to so much when it comes to fear of man. They're not going to love me in whatever state I'm in and accept me. And really that goes back between me and God and having grace and love of myself and receiving that from him. Because when you have that in play, or you can grasp it a little, to me, it's made my recovery from these yucky moments a lot better in recognizing that. Because I have a couple of those big ones that still try to pick at me when wake up in the middle of the night. And I have a girlfriend of mine from years ago, my last interaction with her, to me, because there was somewhere I wanted to really prove to her, no, I'm not the old Missy anymore. And it didn't go the way, I didn't get the reactions from her I wanted. And it still plays over. And at the end of the day, I had to confront, I wanted her to tell me something that I should be receiving from God and being settled inside of myself. And I think that's a big piece of this for a lot of people when it comes to this.
Really well said. And the fear of man will tie into rejection. So that this segues into the rejection route as well too, because I would feel the need to over-explain myself. And because I want the person, I thought, well, if I just explain myself, they'll understand, they'll see, they'll agree with me, therefore like me, and I'll feel okay. And then when it doesn't, then I'm spinning in it. So part of the breakthrough of the fear of man is also letting go of people needing to be a core source of love. And people are like, how do you do that? And it's working it out, because in the end, you were designed to be loved to set you up for greater confidence in God. You were designed to be in healthy tribes and healthy circles relationally that will impart to you and equip you and build you up to send you out and to encourage the confidence in you. Well, we all have screwed up areas of that in our life and in our journey. So God is looking at us and he's going, okay, I want you to have safe relationships, but that's not the main thing. The main thing is I need to become a real presence in your life. And you say, well, I don't have anybody, and I was orphaned, or I was abandoned, or my parents were nuts, or my family's so dysfunctional, or I had a church that was abusive, right. And God is saying, in that area, I want to become more real than ever. So we want to be open to the interactions, but I found I had to let go of the idolatry, because that's what it becomes. Yeah, the idolatry of I need this person, because when we hold that, then it becomes a God. It becomes a driving force to my decisions and my motives. When I let go of that and put that person off the pedestal, then I can begin making some better decisions. It doesn't just all of a sudden make the fear go away. Like I said, I've had many, many layers of breaking through this. I've had a few just recently. They've been great. They cleared my mind out. Right? But it's work. So this is a assignment for those who want to be, they want to really touch hearts and carry a heart of Elijah, that God says in the last days, I want the heart of Elijah to restore the fathers to the sons. You say, I want to help people with their emotions or their relational issues. I want to help restore families. I want to help marriages. Wherever that looks, you're in Elijah ministry, right? And this thing's going to come at you and slap you down and discourage you and make you want to quit and go, what's the point of this? And spin out. And then God goes and comes and says, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? I have thousands of people waiting for you. Mm-hmm. And when God said that to Elijah, and he said, what did he say? I have 7,000 people waiting for you. What was he saying? He's saying they're waiting for you, awake to who you are. And I could go into all kinds of different avenues of that story. But I think that the goal that we're trying to bring out in all our talks is an enhancement of relationship. You and God, how you see yourself, and how you translate that into your family, to your world, to your interactions, to your calling. And just look at the place where have I been more passive that I need to speak my mind? There are times where it wasn't until I got angry that then and sometimes that's what it takes. Jesus flipped a few tables. Sometimes it takes that. It wasn't my favorite way for it to come out. I'd prefer it to be like just all nice and rosy. But there are times where it's like, man, I can't let that stuff just sit inside of me, because it will cause me to go dormant, bitter, and angry, and all that stuff will pent up inside of me. So anyway, I hope this is speaking to somebody's life and to someone's journey. And the book I Will Not Fear will help deal with this in different avenues and different ways. We just have a newest book come out, which I'm so excited about. If you're going to go, where do I want to delve into the heart healing journey. I want to start working on the issues of my heart. Where do I start? People write to me all the time and ask that. Where do I start? Get a copy of the Heart Healing Journey, paperback, audio, ebook, and soon to be video online course. I'm really excited about the online course and what that's going to look like. It's going to take it into some more ways where you can connect to the message of it. Please consider a one-time donation, supporting us, and consider partnering with us. We're doing our best to produce and create quality materials that will speak to your heart in insightful and practical ways. But we hope we found yourself in our conversation today. We hope that you find where you are in your journey, could take what we've experienced and walk to some new levels.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think it's good. Yeah, we love you all. Thank you so much for the great comments, the great feedback. For the most part, the feedback on our materials has just been really, really positive. Yeah. And the ones have been negative. Like we bless you.
Right. Just go to another channel.
Anyway, we take care, and we pray that you experience just greater healing and freedom in your life. Until next time, live the life that God's called you to live from your heart, full of his love and what he sees in you. And may it change all your relationships.
Yeah, so thank you, everyone.